producer of Hawken.
Hello.
So, for those who have never heard of what Hawken is a pretty awesome mech game that, in my opinion, has some of the feel of Smite, some of the competition type stuff, and first-person shooter, and some of the touches from, like, I'm just equating this to things that I know of, and some of the touches of Eve, of like customizing your ships. You can customize your mechs, and including fancy paint jobs, which I did my first paint job today. So, Josh, what is Hawken?
Hawken is intended to be like an arena shooter. You're in a mech. It's intended to have some unique movement aspects to it, so it's definitely going to stand out to you in your FPS experience. I know. I actually kind of prefer the movement now. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely miss the boosting and the dodging that you can do in most of these in all these matches, and there's a whole lot of depth to the lore and everything, and there's a pretty large component of that.
Mm-hmm. So now you guys, okay, so Hawken came out, I don't know when, was it 2012, something like that?
Hmm.
And then disappeared.
Yeah.
And you guys resurrected it. Tell us, what's the history behind that? Why did that happen? How did you guys get it?
Okay. Um, the simplest thing is that it just wasn't making nearly enough money to support the dev team. They had huge expectations on revenue. Like there's some quotes of like, "This is going to be $100 million a year game. It's the next big League of Legends."
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It just didn't monetize that way anywhere near what the expectations were. Um, so as everybody knows, roughly around mid-August last year, everything kind of just went silent. And I didn't really know what was going on, had no idea at the point. Then January 7th or so, I came into the office and there were a bunch of servers sitting in the entryway. And I said, well, what is this? I have no idea. Why are these machines here? And someone said, I think I heard it's Hawken. I was like, what? Hawken? It's running, isn't it? So these must be something different. But no, they were a lot of the build machines and source control and all this stuff. And so for a while, we just tried to rescue the game and make sure that it wouldn't disappear or go away.
Mm-hmm.
So as it turns out, our CEO had been approached by one of the chief or the primary, what do you call them, creditors,
Oh.
and they had said, all right, so we'd plowed a lot of money into this company. It didn't pan out, but we just want to make sure that the asset doesn't disappear in all their
Mm-hmm.
banking terms.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
we spent the next month effectively rebuilding everything, migrating everything off of the existing hosting systems, which, I mean, they were about to get shut off. So there's about a week there where everything could have just disappeared. But for the most part, we kept it all up. It was a pretty seamless transition. And during that, we took the opportunity to completely replace the database backend. So it should be a lot more scalable and easier to develop in the future.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we made a lot of stabilization improvements, though I guess you won't really see all those things until later on when we have more CCUs and stuff. That's kind of the story. So right now it's in a very, very good financial footing. We've got the cost structure in place so that the game makes complete sense to keep running. Now it's just sort of a question of how do you make it so that it converts users to paying at a very
Mm-hmm.
slightly higher level so you can support more aggressive ongoing development. And I don't know, I think Hawken's got a bright future, to be honest.
I could tell you that looking at it, you think, okay, this looks like a really interesting game, and then, but then it's like it doesn't have that additional spark that says I gotta go play this,
Mm-hmm.
and so it took me a little while to get in there, and once I started playing it, I found this is awesome, but I couldn't figure that out by looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, goes back to maybe why it didn't monetize as well, for the guys who, started this. And
Mm-hmm.
so I guess that would be one of your challenges in all of this. But also, if you don't have this huge development team, that's spending millions of dollars into the development of the game,
Yeah.
and you're walking in with this just handed to you, creditors saying, "Can you extract any more money out of this?" You might be in a very, very good spot that it can just all make sense and continue from here.
Mm-hmm. I think so. We have a lot of different people who are interested in working with us. That's pretty cool. And I think what they're sort of waiting is to see the first few patches come out
Mm-hmm.
and that they're well received. And so that's where the pressure's building.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So right now we're in the process of starting to not starting, but we are building the dev team. We have the advertisements out. We've hired the tech lead. He came over from Evolve actually, so I consider
Mm-hmm.
him to be a fairly knowledgeable fellow. He's been around the industry forever. Um, and really the big challenge is going to be how do we add that extra level of, as you mentioned, it's like a stickiness. It's a desire to come back and a desire to put the initial amount of time into it to really to really get the game. Because once you get the game, it's remarkably well balanced, and you understand that, oh, this is a movement-based game. It's not just running around shooting things like super fast. It's the movement aspect that's such a big deal. Um, and um, I think there's a lot of fun, a lot of fun to be
Mm-hmm.
had.
I can tell you that the players that I've encountered are fanatical about the game.
Yes.
And that really says something. That's one of the reasons why I'm like, okay, I'm going to hop in and do this because the support is really a fanatical type support,
Hmm.
and you don't see that everywhere. And so, and in fact, let me just segue that into your guys' support of the community is a bit fanatical. I mean, how awesome is
Thank you,
Tiggs?
dude.
Uh,
Tig is amazing. I am so grateful I get to work with her. When I found out that she'd worked in like Star Wars Galaxies and all these other games, I was like, whoa! I had a mild case of I was feeling starstruck.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
The amount of experience and things that she's seen is pretty amazing.
mm-hmm.
So I always talk to her and find out some random new thing about some other game, like, oh, this has happened before. That's kind of encouraging.
Yeah, yeah. No, Tiggs is awesome. So, and I've known her forever. We met back in UO.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome.
yeah, yeah.
I got to hear some stories about that someday.
Oh, there's plenty. I
You
was
got to
a
give me some ammo.
I was a bit of a troublemaker back then.
Oh, really?
Yes, yes. I pushed the limits. I pushed them too far a few times.
Oh, yes, the enthusiasm. It's great.
So the game here is free to play,
Hmm.
and it's not pay to win. Is there any pay to win stuff in it at all?
No, every single item that's in there, every item and internal that you can use to customize your mech with is and has been designed to be very balanced.
Mm-hmm.
They can each be used on their own and they're each valuable in their own right. So even when you start out, pay absolutely nothing, start with the starter mech, that starter mech can actually compete very well with everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, there's some situations where a different mech might be a little bit better, but that's been the design for the mechs too, is that they're designed to fit a specific role within the team and within the battle and places where the battle is happening in the map.
Mm-hmm.
So I know looking at like the design docs and how they did the planning for how long it should take to level up to different mechs and unlock everything, is very intentional that you spent enough time with each mech to really master it. And there's a lot of players that kind of report that's been their experience too. So I think the design teams and the original developers were very successful in that regard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it feels good to me. I'm starting to have some success. I got I don't know. I got about 15 hours of gameplay in now, and I
Uh-huh.
and I just today made it on winning team and had my mech shown there in the lineup. Today was the first time that's happened because I've just been losing so much.
Oh, yes.
So, okay, going back in the history of Hawken, for those people who have played it before, some of the stuff I read out there was that the Hawken team were the most awful people in the world who made all kinds of promises, didn't deliver, didn't communicate with the community and stuff, and I'm sure you guys have heard that. I'm sure people have come in and just assumed that you're the same people and just keep going at you. But what are you guys doing to combat that? To let's say prove them wrong or show it's different.
I'm trying to be as transparent as I can, um, both because I just think it's more interesting. As a player, I was always just craving any kind of information about what do you guys do in the back end when you're developing stuff? Like, what's it like when you're stuck on a problem with, I don't know, rendering pipelines or something? Um, like the
Over my
yeah,
head. Go
And
ahead though.
I'm not a natural programmer, but I have enough knowledge to be dangerous, I guess.
Hmm.
But just hearing about the conflicts on time and resources that happen in the background with like why did this development happen versus that one, I always thought that would be interesting to even hear about. I know it kind of gets into dangerous territory, and other producers have been like, dude, you don't want to open that can of worms because then everybody criticizes literally everything.
Right. No,
So
there's yeah, just
there's something to be said for it. You don't want to like I don't know, pull the veil back too much. But I think there's a lot of magic in video games because I think there's something very important about video games that I mean humans have never really had a chance to do this type of a thing before, and there's something important and very fascinating about it because it's almost like this purest form of creating something out of literally nothing.
mhm.
And that's my mindset. I would like to hope that would kind of come through and I don't know, capture the imagination and sort of get people on our side a little bit more. But that's my approach, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, sounds good, and I think that that you guys so far with your interaction, the communication, and everything have definitely set a good pace or a good standard on it so
Okay.
far.
A
So,
dangerous precedent, maybe.
well, yeah. Can you keep it up?
Yeah, can you keep it up?
Yeah, yeah. So tell me about Hawken. Seems to me to it would lend itself very well to competitive play. And you mentioned like they thought they were going to build the next League of Legends and stuff like that. What can you envision for the future for uh, you know where this is going for like tournament play and competitive play? Where are you trying to take it?
So I was actually just looking at a set of board slides from back in late 2012 for Hawken, just yesterday, in fact. And they had outlined that they wanted to get tournament play in there, and they wanted to be one of the sort of top competitive games out there.
Hmm.
Um, so they had that in their design mind's eye from the get-go. Um, Priorities changed a little bit, as you can kind of tell. It didn't get completed, is really the sense, and we want to complete that. Um, and basically make it very easy to run tournaments because I think it's just fun that way. I think
Hmm.
Smite has done a fantastic job pulling all that directly into the game itself, so that
Hmm.
the game itself just has tournament stuff integrated right into it. Granted, that's been a major development goal of theirs, and they have some significant teams behind it.
Yeah,
So
the
we'll have
Smite
to
team
ramp up
is
and
huge.
yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. I've been out to their place, and it's very impressive what they've got going on there.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I want to head that direction. I think it's really just a question of when we do it rather than if or whether or not we do it.
Hmm.
And that's an interesting sort of thing that's come up is every time that we've been talking in the back end with like CEO and Tiggs and our tech lead is that it really comes down to, well, when do we execute on these things? Because we believe that Hawken has the legs to be able to support it and sustain this sort of stuff. It's just when do we do it? How and in what order? And it's an immense relief because I don't really have this big sense of foreboding or anything like that.
Um, so okay, so beyond competition and everything, you mentioned a little bit about getting ready to do some of the first patches and stuff, and
Mhm.
like fingers crossed, is that going to work right?
Yeah, right.
And so what is when can we expect some new content? What I don't know. That's what I want to
Yeah, really.
know.
I know. So initially, when we first launched or first acquired it, we anticipated we want to give ourselves like 4 or 5 months. We're very confident that it's going to come out good. Our
Hmm.
investors and board and everybody said, let's do this deliberately. Let's not just rush into it and hurry it out the door and try to just blow it up and throw huge development resources at it before we realize, oh crud, we're going the wrong direction with this game, or oh crud, this game just will not monetize. We're just throwing money away. That's no good. So they said, give it a good like 4 or 5 months. Don't throw a huge amount of stuff into it. Do everything you can with the very small team that you have, and watch it, learn it, let it sort of breathe. Give it some time to
Hmm.
percolate or something.
Marinate.
So yeah, let it marinate. Let it sort of live and sort of naturally get a steady state. Um, so I believe we're still on the same schedule. The tech lead and I have gone over some of the source code. built a new client version, then it worked. So the build systems and processes are still in full working order. And so now it's just a process of we got to find the right people to do the coding, new engine developers, new gameplay developers, 3D artists and stuff like that, creative directors. We got to get the concept art kind of rallied back in. I think we're still on schedule for that. So what is that? Another 2-3 months or something like that now.
We'll say 6.
We'll say 6, yeah. 6 months. Yes.
I know
I
how.
like you. You know reality.
Oh,
You've
yeah,
been there.
yeah. Every time a game developer says a month, I'm like 2 months.
Yes. Double that sucker.
Yeah. It's not because I want it to be that way. It's just things slip.
That's true.
Production schedules slip. So
yeah, I want to be very controlled about what we release initially. It's going to be mostly like bug fixes or small feature enhancements. I want to give the team enough time to really reboot the development knowledge and update documentation, things like that.
So I did my first paint job today, and I applied this Japanese theme to my Rocketeer, and he's got a real evil face and all these pretty flowers on the back. It's such kind of a yin yang thing. My wife would really like it, and I think that just looks so cool and everything, and so. I'm sure that you anticipate that you're going to be coming out with more skins, more additions to the looks, more customization to your mechs. Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think that's just exciting.
and now one of the other things that goes kind of along with that is that I'm looking at like grand visions here of Team Marquee Dragon or whatnot, winning championship. Yay! It won't have me playing in it, but
Oh, you'll get better.
I will get better, but I don't know if I'll ever get to pro level. And so in the future, do you anticipate that we're going to be able to add like team logos to our mechs, stuff like that?
I would love to do that, and I'm fairly confident that it would work fine. It's just a question of, hey, how do we do it? Technically, is it a problem or something based on how the game was built? But I would love for people to be able to upload their own custom logos, clan symbols and stuff like that, their own custom paint jobs even. I think it's entirely doable because we have smaller numbers of players in a match, so like loading the textures and stuff like that shouldn't be too bad.
Right.
And that would be awesome.
I have not encountered any lag, by the way.
Okay.
Or anything, and so you talk about loading assets in or whatnot. A couple of people have said synchronizing takes a long time.
Sometimes that does. We're still trying to track down exactly why that does. It almost seems like it's like a retry thing or something, and the client says, "Oh no, I didn't want that part. Resend it."
Yeah. I have not had any issues with that though.
Good.
So that's been good. So, hey, how about your support of the community and people like me, streamer. I mean, I'm obviously more than a streamer because we're a business partner and we're doing sales for you as well. But streamers, YouTubers, and stuff like that. I know you guys have just poured a whole bunch of attention on us and everything. And what are your what's kind of your plans for that? What to the streamer YouTuber who's watching right now that maybe hasn't tried the game before, sell yourself on why they should try the game because they are going to.
It's going to be great. You can jump into Hawken, get a fast-paced match very quickly, and you can use it to fill time. You can use it to just do an all-day stream. You're always going to have some good content there, and we are heavily supporting our streamers because I think it's the most amazing new media type thing that's ever come out. It's just fantastic. And especially when you're determined enough, like you, Marky, it's sort of, you make it happen and you become a personality. There'll be thousands of people who watch this stuff and have a great time every time. And I think that's fabulous. It's amazing. And this is something that I want to support not only in principle, but because it helps the game and well, it's just a lot of fun.
So, okay, well, I guess if you're watching this interview and you have not tried Hawken yet, if you're watching on YouTube, there's a link in the description. If you're watching on Twitch, !Hawken in Twitch chat, and there'll be links there to try it out. It is free to play. Doesn't cost you a dime. I finally spent my first dime today. Been playing for over a week now, and didn't have to. I just wanted my cool looking mech, or my mech to look cooler. And so, is there anything else that I have not asked that you think is important about the game, or?
I'm sure there is. I'm never good at thinking of the missed part.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's okay. So, yeah, okay. Well, nothing but good things in chat. You know, they're liking that. Oh, I do see one question about anti-cheat.
Anti-cheat, yes.
So what is without giving away any secret sauce? What's kind of the stance on that?
Really, we got to pick a good one. In the past, they hadn't implemented a full anti-cheat solution on the client, anyways, because they'd kind of moved between not on Steam and then onto Steam, and then they kind of got backed up with actually implementing Steam. So we have our sights set on. There's probably 3 different solutions, and really it needs to come down to how exactly the client is set up, because there are some that work better with a vanilla type Unreal build, and some that don't work quite as well or require more work. And we want to leave it up to the actual devs that we bring on. Mm-hmm. That's basically where it's going to go. Yeah. So we're also going to be looking at server-side anti-cheat also, because the client side is just a giant arms race. It's just going to be a constant arms race. And we got to have some server-side stuff too.
Mm-hmm. And do you guys anticipate that you'll be aggressive when you see something, or what do you?
Yeah, it's going to be fairly aggressive. I don't know. It's always this torn thing. It's like if you just start ban hammering literally every cheater you see, they just kind of squirt out and come back. I've seen it years and years and years of. I mean, I've banned 1,000 gold farmers in a day. Mm-hmm. And they just come right back. Mm-hmm. So there's got to be a slightly different approach, and I think we do have some unique approaches to that, and we'll be employing the best that we've got.
Service degradation.
Service degradation. Oh, you're missing packets. Oh,
mm-hmm. No. No, I'm serious. Frustrate them to death.
Yeah.
It's not
waste their time more than
it's not profitable anymore. So yeah, we've done that in forums before. Oh, page error. Oh, slow page loads. Sorry. Yeah, to the spammers.
Oh, that's funny. That's entertaining.
Okay, well, oh yeah. So Kook is in channel here. He is the number one person that knows how hard it is to take care of spammers. He worked War Z, and War Z was notoriously hard for catching them. So yeah, he's like, what hackers? So okay, well, I appreciate your time, and I look forward to playing more. And anybody who, if you are a streamer or a YouTuber, get in touch with me or with someone at Hawken, who can then probably put you in touch with me, and we'll help you out and everything. So we shall.
Yeah, we can get you some codes or something for giveaways on occasion. Keep things exciting.
Yeah. So, well, it's a lot more in depth than that, guys.
Oh gosh, yeah.
If anybody is thinking, oh God, I'm going to get some codes, it's so much more in depth than that that'll just blow your mind. So I'll just leave it at that.
It takes a lot of work, but if you put the work in, it's amazingly fun. It's a good time.
Yeah. So, okay, Josh, thank you, and
bye.
Hopefully I'm on your team next time we play together, not against you.
Yes. All right, it's been a pleasure, man. Have a good one.
Yep. Take care.
Bye.